Hi, welcome to another Consonant Analysis. Today I have for you an analysis of a video excerpt which I watched on the Believe YouTube channel. That's BELIVE channel. And they seem to focus on Michael Jackson. I previously analysed a video that they've produced, or a part of that video, and I'll leave a link to that in the description below, into the description below. This one is, on the surface, when you look at it, it's very difficult to gauge who it is. It's on the basis of the channel stating that it's Michael Jackson, for people to actually believe that it is. So in other words, you're going on the basis of what they actually say. Really, it's just somebody in a mask. I mean, I listened to the voice and I couldn't detect that it was Michael Jackson, although my 8-year-old son seemed to think that it was. But yeah, the channel believes that it is as well. So I thought I'd look into that. That was quite interesting. It was a very short excerpt. The extract is, "I'm not Michael Jackson. Don't think I'm Michael Jackson because I'm not." I basically color-coded that, and I've gone through it bit by bit to see what I can pull out from it using consonant analysis. My interpretation at the end is the subject wants to hide his identity while simultaneously wanting to reveal who he is. He's like trying to do two things at the same time. Obviously, if he's on chat roulette, he wants to reveal himself to people, but then he's hiding behind a mask, and why would you do that anyway? Anyway, we're going to answer these, or look at these questions as we go through the analysis. So what I've done, as usual now, I've highlighted the relevant sections of the extract and put those into the code, and obviously you can read that at your leisure afterwards. I won't go through all of the report. What I'll do is I'll just cover the important parts, and the markers at the end, which are that's the raw data. I'll leave that to go through if you want to. However, you don't really need to, because I've summarised all of that information in themes. So onto the highlights. This is the text that's highlighted in the various colours, and it matches across the extent of the report. So highlight number 1. The phrase, remember, the phrase again is, "I'm not Michael Jackson. Don't think I'm Michael Jackson because I'm not." So number 1, the highlighted red and yellow text, which covers the phrase "I'm not," correlates to exact markers 2 and 3 and is interpreted as follows. So, "I'm thriving, very happy and doing well. I'm indicating that the mask I'm wearing is not being worn by Michael Jackson, although I trace my association to him." So he is making some sort of association. And for comments I've put on this particular these particular highlights, "This indicates that the subject is not dead, as in, I'm not the dead Michael Jackson, I'm the alive one. Here, it's me. Indeed, he is not the Michael Jackson that people idolise, the image, the stage name, but the person of Michael Jackson, the recluse, the real one who lives away from the stage." So, so he is Michael Jackson. He isn't Michael Jackson. Again, there's this duality of him. Like I said, in interpretation, he wants to reveal himself, but he doesn't want to reveal himself. It's an untenable or difficult situation. So point 2 in highlights, the phrase "cause," because he says it's "cause," highlighted in bright green, correlates to exact marker 3 and is interpreted as follows. "I'm really very happy." And for comments I put, he's happy because he is no longer that Michael Jackson that he was forced to be, i.e. the image people idolise. Highlight 3, the phrase "Michael Jackson," which is highlighted in royal blue, correlates to exact marker 8. Exact markers, by the way, the core of my analysis is extracting, matching up the the consonants in the extract and matching it with the source reference, 3 consonants at a time. So the 3 consonants are what I call a marker. So the markers that I pull out of the extract either match the source reference or they don't. They'll fall in between two exact markers in the source reference. So exact markers are the ones that match up exactly with a marker in the in the source reference. And what they do is they tend to give a skeleton or a flavour for the rest of the report. So in this particular case, what I've done is I've concentrated on the exact markers section of the markers at the end of the report. Because there's few of those, and they give basically the flavour of the rest of the report. However, in themes, what I've done is I've gone through all of the markers and I've extracted keywords or components and put them into some sort of order in the themes as a summary for you to read and digest. So, highlight 3. The phrase Michael Jackson highlighted in royal blue correlates to exact marker A and is interpreted as, I am living, being unconcerned with the world. And for comments I put, what this tends to suggest is that at his core, the subject is, and always has been, about being reclusive. Hence the Neverland and this type of thing. Out of the limelight, out of the spotlight, he really was, a person living on his own, doing his own thing, probably spending time with his family, etc., which is actually pretty much what everybody does, just wanted an ordinary life, really, outside of the stage. Highlight 4, the phrase think is highlighted in pink and correlates to exact markers 16, 17, 18 and 19 and is interpreted as, what I had was collapsing around me. It was actually holding me back. That is what this mask represents. What happened weakened me. I can't go back to life as it was. Life is not the same, but I'm in good hands now. Let's talk about something else. I just want peace. And for comments, I put the word think seems to be connected to what the mask should make people think about. If it is Michael under the mask and he is taking a break from the objectivity, i.e. being idolised rather than being a person in his own right, then the mask represents who he actually is, the man in the mirror. By wearing the mask, he wants people to see him as he is, to subjectify him. In an ironic twist, he has to wear the mask to achieve this, and of course, it doesn't work, which must be quite tormenting for him. So he's putting on this mask to send out a message, but the message that he's trying to send out doesn't come across because of the fact that he's actually hiding under it. He wants people to see him, but they can't see him because of the mask. But the mask is the thing that he's trying to point people's attention to, that he doesn't want it. An untenable situation. Highlight 5. The phrase don't, highlighted in dark green, correlates to exact markers 19, 20, 21 and 22 and is interpreted as, I'm holding back from revealing who I am, as to reveal myself would frustrate my new life. I don't know what else to say. I do think about revealing my identity all the time. I weigh up the pros and cons. But I have come down on the side of saying goodbye. It's a way of paying for the wrong I'm accused of. So comments for this are, the word don't seems to cover all the things which are preventing the subject from revealing who he really is. Almost like saying everything about the situation is don't. I don't do anything. And that is very restrictive. Who could live under that type of regime from the most regular people, let alone one of the most famous pop artists in history? So it's an untenable situation. He's trying to do something, but essentially he's shackled. He can't actually do what he wants to, although he's trying. And obviously, knowing the type of person Michael was, he was very driven. So, and also that was his life. His life was essentially, away from home. It was the stage. It was the fans. He put his all into everything. I think that was one of the things that ruined him at the end. He was just like a workhorse. And so, though he's like, beavering away very hard, he's not getting anywhere, not with the new situation, although he's trying. So highlight 6, the phrase Michael Jackson, highlighted in teal this time, correlates to exact markers 23, 24, 30 and 31 and is interpreted as, I'm holding back from revealing who I am, as to reveal myself would frustrate my new life. I don't know what else to say. I do think about revealing my identity all the time. I weigh up the pros and cons, just as before. But I have to come down on the side of saying goodbye. It's my way of paying for the wrong I'm accused of. It gives me closure. In my old life, I'd become contaminated and disgraced, but now I can continue to lead the good life, not being concerned with things. The best policy is silence. I need to increase my capacity once again. I'm just really concerned that I'll shine so much after making a clean break that I'll be rediscovered and have to go into hiding yet again. As it is, the situation has affected me mentally. I feel I need to out myself. I need to put myself in order. That's a note to myself. In the meantime, I feel that appearing on the web in disguise is a way for me to connect with fans. This is my way of saying that I'm not beaten. I have a clear plan in place and I will carry it out. So he's very driven. He's very clear about what he wants to do, what he wants to achieve. Whether he can achieve those things, that's another matter. But he is trying and he's got a plan in place. He's not doing things haphazardly. He's not a silly man. He's an intelligent man. So there's 4 comments this time for this particular highlight. 1, interpretation. While this phrase appears to be repeated from a consonant analysis perspective, in other words, Michael Jackson, from a consonant analysis perspective, the words on either side of it alter its meaning. Hence, the interpretation given differs from the seemingly same phrase uttered previously in extract. In other words, what that means is he said Michael Jackson twice, but with consonant analysis, we're looking at all of the consonants and they all intertwine. So it's the neighbouring consonants that define a consonant in its own right. So one consonant is defined by the consonants on either side of it. So Michael Jackson appears twice in the extract, and in each case the consonants on either side of that phrase are different, so it does actually yield a slightly different meaning. It's not the same meaning. So you're not looking at the phrase as we interpret Michael Jackson being something's name and a personality. You're interpreting in terms of the other things that he's said. 2, comment 2, repetition. This seeming repetition of the phrase in the extract suggests emphasis. The subject was trying to stress a particular point, and we learn that that point by performing the analysis above that the subject, the analysis above, that the subject is reclusive, hence the need to use online video chat rather than appearing in person. And in this seeming repeat of the phrase here below, that the subject is a luminary person who does not wish to be rediscovered. So he doesn't want to be rediscovered. He doesn't mind being discovered as himself, but not as Michael Jackson, the pop artist. 3, personalities. The second use of the term Michael Jackson seems to refer to Michael's stage persona, in contrast to the first seeming use of the term, which indicates reclusive personality. So there's 2 Michael Jacksons. There's one that he wants to say bye-bye to, and there's one that he wants to keep, which is himself, basically. 4, comments 4, thoughts. Given this duality of appearance and reality, I can understand how eventually such opposing aspects of a person's lifestyle will tear him apart. Hence, obviously he's going on a chat forum or a chat platform and wearing a rubber mask. I'm sorry, but if you look at it from that perspective, it does look ridiculous. If you look at it from the perspective of his family or friends who are trying to understand and help him get through something and get some closure, then okay, that's fine. You could understand that. All outside of that, it does look extremely ridiculous. And for somebody to go from being in such a position, held in high esteem by people and loved by people and still loved by people, to be a man wearing a mask and pretending that he's somebody that he's not, or not somebody that he is. So I can understand how that would tear him apart, especially given the substantial stress outside of the norms of living the life of a supremely famous pop star. And it does actually come out in the markers about a slight mental derangement. You could understand how it would affect anybody. Highlight 7. The phrase not highlighted in cyan correlates to the markers 30, 31 and 33 and is interpreted as follows. I am determined to achieve my goals. They make me stronger, consolidate my life I continually flourish. Part of that plan is to keep contact with my fans. So he's taking his fans with him, by hook or by crook, whatever way possible. He wants to keep his fans with him, and that's quite understandable, So for comments I put, this indicates that while Michael Jackson, as we know him, didn't achieve his goals, this Michael Jackson certainly will. Highlight 8. The phrase I'm, highlighted in grey, correlates to marker 33 and is interpreted as follows. I am part of my fans and they are part of me. To them I owe my success. I want to let them know that. And for comments I've put, this indicates that the subject cares about his fans. That's what he really is all about. And so he should be. Without the fans, he wouldn't be famous. So yeah, in total, you've got this, as you see really on the, if you watch the video extract, I'll leave the link in the description below. It's the man there who's trying to get across something to somebody, and he's being misunderstood, as I put in the interpretation. So moving on to comments, there's only one comment here, and it's a rather long one, and it's talking about choice of words. So I've put, if the subject was not Michael Jackson, just like any other person who was being misidentified, he would more than likely respond with "No, I'm not." This is assumed to be the most likely response that the vast majority of people would give to either inquiry, i.e., "Are you Michael to either the inquiry, "Are you Michael Jackson?" or the exclamation, "You are Michael Jackson," to which you would respond, "No, I'm not." That's the first thing that I believe, anyway, that the natural reaction for somebody to be spontaneously ask that question is to say, "No, I'm not." I say this because in the video excerpt provided, we do not get to learn what prompted the subject to just reply as he did. We just hear him say, that he's not Michael Jackson. I'm not Michael Jackson. Don't think I'm Michael Jackson, because I'm not. Every time I read that, it makes me laugh. It can be assumed, however, in all likelihood, he more probably received feedback as just mentioned, hence his response, "I'm not Michael Jackson, don't think I'm Michael Jackson, because I'm not." Additionally, I would say that the regular person, i.e. you or me, would fall into one of two camps. The first would want people to believe that he was Michael Jackson due to the fame and attention attached to that individual. So if somebody's coming out and saying, "Are you Michael Jackson?" some people would say, "Yeah, I am," because they want the attention. In other words, he would keep encouraging the onlookers to believe he was who they thought he was. And if he was this type of person, he may also be likely to prompt the matter before even being asked about it. So he would actually tell him he's Michael Jackson. There'd be no need for him to say that he wasn't. But why someone would not want other people to think he was Michael Jackson after he had gone to elaborate lengths to disguise himself and then appear in a public forum is difficult to understand. So if somebody's giving you street creds, lap it up. If you've gone to all that trouble of going on a chat forum or a chat platform and wearing a mask, take it. No, don't seriously. Tell the truth. Don't tell lies. That's what this channel is all about. The second type of person who was Michael Jackson and did not want people to believe that he was, as I have stated, would be more likely to state that I'm not Michael Jackson, with a possible follow-up as to why someone would think that, and for them to stop lying. Why do you think that? Stop lying. The phraseology used, however, does amplify a person who is trying to hide his identity, which after being applied becomes apparent. The disguise, that is. Now, with regards to themes, I've mentioned these briefly in the interpretation. Vis-a-vis the words association and confiding. That seems to be a key aspect. He wants to associate people and confide in them. That's what the whole analysis seems to be about. That whole phrase, "I'm not Michael Jackson, don't think I'm, because I'm not." When you look at the analysis, and what I've done is I've highlighted them in black. You can see in the themes, I've highlighted these particular keywords in black. And they seem to be the whole crux of the matter. But with regards to the themes, I'll let you go through those yourself. Like I said, they're just a summary of the markers that I've pulled out. And again, they're coloured according to the colours on the extracted text. So that's the man in the mask that's mentioned in a video shot briefly on the Believe channel, a channel that's dedicated to this particular subject, I believe. Michael Jackson. At the moment is unearthing the truth surrounding Michael Jackson. Is he still alive? So that's all I have for you today. As I've said, my report and all the other links, like the source materials, will be in the description below. Thank you for joining me. If you like the video, please do like it, and remember to share and subscribe. And I look forward to seeing you in the next analysis.